Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Snapping fingers? Oh, hell no. We're done talking. Let me get the manager for you. People who bought glass tables shouldn't throw fits. More about the cranky lady after the short pause. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. How about you do your job? Wait, no! One of the phrases that always used to rub me the wrong way was a customer snarking, "Why don't you do your job?" One such customer came into the store and ordered a bunch of glass coffee tables, super heavy, and it was always recommended to get these delivered. Nope, she wasn't having any of it. She wanted them sent to the warehouse where she'd pick them up. It takes a few weeks to get the tables in, and when this lady arrives, I know it's going to be an issue. Let me paint a picture for you. She's got those stylish denim tights that are meant to look like jeans, lots of orange fake tan, and her chunky Dior glasses on the entire time. She's got that "I want to speak to the manager" haircut and attitude. She's immediately ordering us around and snapping her fingers. She wants all 3 tables loaded up into her small 4-wheel drive. I've told my guys, let's just get this done ASAP as we have a massive shipment of stock coming in and don't want to waste any more time with this woman. We get the first table across to her car, and I have a chat with them trying to figure out how we'll make all these tables fit. Woman: "Can you guys stop talking? I'm in a rush." Me: "We're just trying to figure out the best way to get the tables into your car." Woman: "I don't want excuses. Just get it done." Me: "Maybe you could do a couple of trips?" Woman: "How about you just shut up and do your job?" I see red. Fine, we will do our job. I turn to the boys and tell them to take the table back as this lady starts yelling, No. Sorry, keep loading, please." "Nope, no way. We're going to do our jobs as per company policy." I take her sales receipt and show her in the terms and conditions where it states, "Warehouse and sales workers will not be responsible for loading any customer's goods. If a customer elects pickup, it's their responsibility to load their own goods within the business time of the warehouse. Warehouse workers are not responsible or liable for loading a customer's goods onto any trolleys and is the sole responsibility of the customer." My boys and I go back to prepping the loading dock for the transfer, leaving this spray-tanned bee to load up the tables herself. When this bee tried to load the tables herself, she couldn't lift them. She tried and almost dropped the table. Then she stared at us as we were unloading a truck, and with every minute that passed, she realized she wasn't getting any help. She came back a few days later with a bunch of guys to help her out, but we didn't lift a finger. And our second story. Car hop me? I've got your phone now. So this story starts this morning at 5:30. I've woken up, sleepy-eyed, my dogs greet me, and I head to the shower. As I'm about to get in, my dogs start growling real defensive-like, you feel? I think nothing of it. Oh, it's probably just someone walking down the road, taking an early morning walk or something, and I continue on with my routine. When I get in my car to head to work, I notice my sunglasses case is on the passenger seat, where I hadn't left them from the day before. Holy crap, somebody's been going through my stuff. This is the second time in a couple of weeks this has happened. I go through the things that are in my car and nothing's really missing. The glasses are still there, and even the loonies in my change spot. As I'm pulling out of my driveway, I see this hood rat that graduated with me walking down the road, like literally right in front of my house. That meathead wouldn't be dumb enough to car hop someone at 5:30 in the morning, would he? He wouldn't do it when it's light out and people are waking up to go to work, would he? Fast forward to 15 minutes ago. I'm cleaning out some crap from my car, and in the back seat I see a phone. I thought it was pretty strange. Maybe one of my friends had dropped it the last time we hung out and I hadn't noticed it. I'll charge it and see who it is, and I'll drop it off at their house later today. Charge it up, go to Facebook to see whose profile it is, and guess who? The effing meathead from earlier in the day. I'm completely ecstatic. This guy tries to steal a couple of bucks worth of stuff from my car, and he ends up losing his phone that's worth hundreds of dollars. My brother just told me, though, that he's missing an Adidas backpack, but all the stuff that was in it was left behind. Thanks for your Galaxy S4 Mini, you moron. I'm going to go to the police station saying that this guy went through my car and I'd like to have my brother's backpack back. I hope he feels pretty stupid when he walks into the police station. I know, 2 times in 2 weeks. Why don't you lock your doors? I have a car that doesn't have automatic locks, and in the winter, when I would stick my key in the door to unlock it, the key would get frozen in the lock. I just thought it'd be easier to leave them unlocked, and it kind of became a habit. From now on, though, I'll be locking my doors. And our next story. Rip off my coworker when selling him a car equals lots of parking tickets. A guy I used to work with bought a fixer-upper with a blown head gasket for a few $100. It ran, but would overheat quickly if you tried to drive it even a few miles. Being familiar with that particular model of car, he knew he could part it out and get most of his money back, but he really wanted to make a nice daily driver out of it for his son. He and the seller had discussed the father-son project, so it wasn't like the seller didn't understand that he intended to put the car back on the road. He met the owner late on a Friday, paid cash, and got a signed title. He and his son spent the weekend cleaning it up and making minor repairs. They were excited about their new project. Fortunately, the auto parts store had to order the parts, so they hadn't torn into the engine yet. When he went to transfer it Monday morning, he found that there was a lien against it, and the owner had given him an old copy of the title before the lien was placed. This means the owner had to have filed for a lost title at some point, gotten their payday loan on the car, and then knowingly gave him the old copy when they sold it. After contacting the seller turned out to be futile, he decided to cut his losses and bought another project car of the same model. He and his son swapped all the nicest parts onto their new project car and sold what they could. Overall, they recovered slightly better than half their initial purchase price. That's when inspiration struck. It had only been a month or so when he was on his way home and saw someone getting a parking ticket only a couple of blocks from his house. Parking in this small town was at a premium, and the local police wrote lots of tickets. Worse, if you left your car there too long, they'd write you multiple tickets, getting more and more expensive before eventually having it towed away. So he went home, got the car, drove it a couple of blocks to town, which you could do even without boiling over. He parked where it was sure to get a ticket and walked home. Later that evening, he went back to get it. He's probably one of the only people ever to be happy about finding parking tickets on his windshield. He did this several times over the course of a month, racking up quite a bit in parking fines. I don't remember what he finally did with the car, but the guy who sold it to him got hundreds of dollars in parking tickets. And our last story. Take my food, I'll take your job. Little backstory. I work in a Mexican restaurant with approximately 6 waitstaff. Tonight I was working with my least favorite of them all, who we'll call Mary. Mary is the most incompetent waitress I've ever worked with. When you arrive at work, she'll expect you to take over the whole restaurant. If it's busy, she won't help any other staff on their sections. She randomly disappears without telling anyone and takes 10 to 15-minute cigarette breaks and toilet breaks. She constantly complains, yada yada yada. She's just the worst to work with. Today, I got to work around 2 p.m. and Mary complained to the manager about being so hungry until he eventually gave her a break. That was fine. The restaurant wasn't too busy. I could handle it on my own. Mary got her food, took her 30-minute break, an extra 10-minute cigarette break, and then came back on the floor where we split the sections north and south. Mary has worked at the location longer than I have, but it's blatantly clear that nobody gets on with her. She gets 2 shifts a week and that's it. I, however, work full-time in the restaurant, so I do 8 to 9 hour shifts 5 to 6 days a week. I was chatting with the head chef last week about our favorite foods and whatnot, and I mentioned that mine was lasagna. After our lunch rush ended, the head chef told me she was going to make me special staff food. Now, I usually really like the food in the restaurant, but I've tried everything at least 4 times over, so I was interested to see what she'd make me. As I'm waiting, a walk-in of 8 arrive, and I go to my section and get them drinks, get their orders, and get them all set up, and then the restaurant just explodes with people and we get super busy. Another waiter comes in early to help us. When all of a sudden I hear my manager shouting at the pass. Wondering what the commotion was, I head over to see. There in the pass, in all her glory, is Mary with lasagna smothered all over her face. My manager found her tearing into my staff food. Remember, she'd already eaten, and the head chef was screaming at her in Lithuanian. The restaurant is so busy, the chefs don't have time to even fry me a bowl of chips, so my manager just tells me to take the rest of the lasagna and eat it. There were 2 forkfuls left. 2. I was absolutely raging. I was on a 9-hour shift and I only had 2 forkfuls of lasagna. Mary was due to finish as soon as I finished my break, so I decided to take a longer break to try and get back at her. After 15 minutes, she comes back to the staff room and asks me to cut my break short so she can leave. I tell her, I know I didn't have any food to eat, but I'm still taking my full 30 minutes. When my break's up, I head back to the floor and look for Mary so she can pass over her section to me so that she can leave. I can't find her anywhere. I ask my manager, he doesn't know where she is. I check the bathroom, smoking area, staff room, nada. When I ask my coworker, he tells me Mary left about 10 minutes ago. I go up to my manager and tell him that Mary left early without telling anyone and that my section of the restaurant are left with empty drinks and dirty plates in front of them. By now, my manager's fuming, and I am too. He emails Mary her resignation and signs the email, "Please wash and return your uniform as soon as possible." Consider it a cheap price to pay for never having to deal with such a parasitical victim complex reject of a person again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.